We celebrate the most radiant reality of our faith, the belief in the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And all of us who are baptized into Christ, we were baptized into his life, his death, and most importantly, what we celebrate today, his resurrection. And often when we come together on Easter Sunday, we hear the same gospel in the readings. And I wanted to share with you, though, kind of another way to look at Easter morning. And this is not my original idea. I give St. Ignatius of Loyola the credit for this. But when I was first starting the seminary many years ago, we were doing his spiritual exercises. And towards the end of it, when he speaks about the resurrection, he says, now we all know that the Bible doesn't tell us everything. We do know the Bible tells us of Mary of Magdala going to the tomb, and James and John. But he said, I firmly believe that Mary Magdalene wasn't the first person that Jesus revealed himself to. He said, I really believe, and for centuries other Christians have believed, even though it's not in the Bible, that Jesus would have appeared first of all to his mother. And you think about it. At the Annunciation, Mary was the only human being, as confused as she was, that knew that God wanted to become one of us. That God wanted to become a human being. And he was going to do so through her. And then 9 months after that confusing, startling, amazing experience, she gave birth to this little baby boy. And as she was holding this little baby boy in her arms, like only she really knew the full story. And you can imagine the joy, and I see so many mothers holding their children here, the joy holding her firstborn. And then she raised him, she fed him, she clothed him, she did all of those good things that our mothers do for us. And then you fast forward to what we just celebrated 2 days ago at Good Friday when he was on the cross. Who was there at the foot of the cross but his mother? When all the other apostles fled, she was there at the cross. So he says it makes absolute sense that he would have appeared to her first. Right? That's what we would think. And so the way St. Ignatius invites you to pray is to use your imagination, to imagine yourself in the scene. So I remember doing this meditation, and for me it's just something that was so beautiful. Right? Like I picture Jesus on Easter morning. And we know on the cross he said to John, behold your mother, and to her, behold your son. And from that hour onward, John took her under his care. So I presume Mary was in John's place, and Jesus gets up on Easter morning, and he goes to where she's sleeping, and he sits right down next to her, and he probably puts his hand on her face, and then he whispers in her ear, I'm here. I'm alive. The resurrection. Can you imagine Mary's joy having held her son when he came down from the cross, right? Having held this dead boy like she held the lively young child before. Imagine the joy of Mary. I can imagine almost wanting to scream and to shout. And Jesus is like, shh, don't tell anyone else yet. This is between you and me. I want to let the others know. What we celebrate today is that immense joy, that death no longer has power over us. Because the reality of the resurrection, and as we do it in our church, as you all know, when we go to a baptism, we use all of these symbols. A child is brought into the faith. We pour holy water over them. We put a white bib on them. We give them a candle that we light from the Easter candle. And we do all of these wonderful things because a child is being incorporated into Christ. And what's the other moment in life when we use all of those symbols all over again? At our funeral, at the end. We do the same exact thing. We put the white garment over the deceased person. We sprinkle with holy water. Why? Because we as Christians believe that death is not the end. Death is a birth into everlasting life. And so at a funeral, we can rejoice for the person. I'm sorry, I saw that fall before. I don't know whose that is, but whoever it is, if someone's there, I don't want someone to step on it. Right? But we can rejoice. Is it hers? Is it hers? Is it yours? No, I don't know whose it is, but someone's sticker's there. Could be Father Jay's stickers. I'm not sure, but saw something there, right? But we rejoice at a funeral for the person who has died because they are being born into everlasting life. So think about it. We have nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear anymore. The greatest fear that kept humanity captive is the fear of death. And yet we know it's a birth into everlasting life. So today, as I wish you all a very happy Easter, above all, what I wish you is for you to experience that joy that Mary experienced in her heart when Jesus whispered into her ear, I'm here, I'm alive. Death has been conquered forever. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit.